like I've said so many times, like I understand, polyandry, and I understand, the women's rebuttal with polyandry. But here's the thing: a lot of times, a lot of the sisters that bring up polyandry, my issue with that is you're not bringing it up because you necessarily really want to partake in polyandry. You're not saying it because you think that's going to solve some issues in the black community. You're saying it just to be tit for tat because you don't like the idea of polygyny. Listen, if you're agreeing or accepting polygyny as a form of relationship depends on whether someone else accepts another form of relationship, then you're just not down with it. You can say, I'm just not down with it. You can be real. You don't have to pull rebuttals out the ass that really ain't got shit to do with shit just to have something to say. Sisters, we do that shit a lot. We sometimes we have to really address the fact that I'm really emotional about this. I'm really upset about this idea of polygyny. I'm angry because it doesn't feel fair. It doesn't feel fair to me. Why doesn't it feel fair to you? What about that doesn't feel fair? Let's really dive in. Let's really dive into that. Can anybody? I know there's some sisters on here that don't agree with polygyny. You can voice it. Let's talk about it. What about polygyny doesn't seem fair? For some reason, we think that polygyny is all about the man. And in that way, aren't we being patriotic and saying that women ain't shit? Because I view my sister so highly that regardless of the man being in this situation, I always got sisters at my house. I always got women around me. I love black women and I value black women so much that I love having them in my home. I would love a communal situation with me and a whole bunch of women in a big ass house, regardless of if a man is there. A man being there would just be the best thing for me. But what I'm saying is I value us so much that I'm not going to sit here and say polygyny is all about the man, knowing I'm getting more sisters. I'm getting more help around the house. I'm getting more nurturing souls to be around. I'm getting more around more diverse skill sets. You know what I mean? I'm being around more mothers for my children. I'm being around more children. You know what I mean? Like, some of us like kids out here. You know what I mean? Like, is it weird? To me, it seems natural for women to love to be around children. I thought that was innate and natural. You know what I mean? My sister is not my competition. She's my teammate. Exactly. You know, and so when I hear responses like that, you've always heard me say I don't have a problem with polyandry. I'm gonna tell you who I think partakes in polyandry more realistically, and let's backtrack. You hear me say all the time, like, I think a lot of us date polyamorously. Like, I don't have a problem with people dating. I don't have a problem with a lot of shit. It's not that it's a problem. I just feel like some things are more solution oriented and the others are just for our pleasure versus what's best for the community. And I think that our individualistic mindset has really been tearing away at our community. It's divisive, it's individual. It's not thinking of the community as a whole, and that's the problem. We don't try to help each other and solve the problems of the community more. We just like, I'm just going to solve my own problems, and we leave the community out to dry. And a lot of people and a lot of our children end up getting the brunt of that, So it's just, for me, I'm looking at what's really going to help the community. We can sit here and be selfish all day and say, well, polyandry. No. Okay, polyandry is cool. Like, at the end of the day, I think that anybody can love more than one person at a time. Like, period. But for me, like, the structure that benefits the black community is what I'm looking to. That's what I'm looking, because I want for the black community to be better. So that's where I come. That's where I come. It's not that I'm pushing polygamy because, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. This is, for me, it's just something that we need to be open to, because we need to be getting ready to figure out how to orchestrate this for our children. Because ultimately, we going to be the testers right now. Our generation is not used to polygyny. We going to be the testers right now. Understood. We got to kind of iron these kinks out, but we got to be open to the conversation. We don't